What's up guys, Gage from ARG, and we're going to be talking about a new spell card being released, Anti-Magic Arrows, which is to be released in Duelist Pack 16. Anti-Magic Arrows, it's a quick play spell card. At the start of the battle phase, neither player can activate spells or trap cards or their effects until the end of this turn. And cards and effects cannot be activated in response to this card's activation. This is actually a very interesting card being released from the set, and it could be compared to that of Cold Wave, or the power level of it. However, I'm going to go out on a limb and say these two cards don't really serve the same purpose as each other, Cold Wave and Anti-Magic Arrows. I believe they're very different in what they can do. Cold Wave's obviously banned for a reason. Anti-Magic Arrows, I don't think is going to be banned or limited anytime soon. Let's focus on Anti-Magic Arrows for a second here. Anti-Magic Arrows can stop a whole array of things at the start of the battle phase to the end phase, from that of Mirror Force to any battle trap, such as Dimensional Prison or Sakuretsu Armor if you want to go way back in the day. Or it can stop things from the main phase too as well, from either your opponent or yourself, but that's a bad idea. It can stop your opponent from doing anything on the main phase 2 that involves spell or trap cards because it is a quick play spell card. Therefore, you can activate this during your opponent's battle phase, and therefore it will lock them from activating anything from the battle phase all the way until the end phase. Now, is that really a good thing? Let's talk about it. The one thing that kind of causes the downfall for this card is the fact that you can't activate it during the main phase 1, and that is a huge setback, if you will ask me. Now, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that the main phase 1 is where most of the action happens. The summoning of monsters, the setting up of a board, and then attacking. And the main phase 2 is normally where you will set your back row, and you will be ready to combat your opponent's play next turn. In short, main phase 1 is where all the action happens, and then main phase 2 is the cleanup process, pretty much. So since the fact that this card can't be activated during the main phase 1 and is only affected during the battle phase until that of the end phase, we're excluding a whole bunch of important spell or trap cards, especially right now in the format, that this card could hit. Reinforcement of the Army, any of the Necros cards, Shaddoll Fusion, and even if you want to go to a reach, any cards like Upstart Goblin or anything to get you into your combo pieces, these you cannot hit with Anti-Magic Arrows because normally these will be activated during the main phase 1. I have to say normally because someone's going to say, oh, you can activate them during the main phase 2. I'm not disputing that, but normally they'll be used to set up a board. Reinforcement of the Army is going to search out a Deneb, which is then going to be summoned. So, yeah, it normally happens during main phase 1. So what Anti-Magic Arrows will combat is anything being activated during the battle phase, as well as any after setup that your opponent may want to accomplish after their main phase 1 and then the battle phase. Since you must activate this during the start of your battle phase, as well as the fact that it also is a spell speed 4, I hate that term, but it's a spell speed 4 because your opponent cannot respond to it, this effectively kills any battle traps in the form of Mirror Force, Dimensional Fissure, Sakuretsu Armor if you want to go way back, and cards like El Shaddoll Fusion, Mystical Space Typhoons during the battle phase, Forbidden Lances, all those are just dashed away by this card. And that is mainly where this card will shine, because if we go to the main phase 2, which I already said was kind of like the cleanup phase, since we already accomplished our board this turn, it can, don't get me wrong, it can hit any of the prior plays that I mentioned for the main phase 1. But like I said, main phase 2 normally has its own things that you'll be activating. Since you already did all your board setup during the main phase 1, or you normally do, you probably used all your cards that will help you either A, get into more combo pieces, or B, just search cards. Summoning spell cards such as Ritual Spells or Shaddoll Fusions, as well as Clifford Scout and such are included in this. So saying that there's not really a wide variety of cards to hit during the main phase 2 as there is during the battle phase, as well as the main phase 1. Which brings me back to the battle phase. There are several cards that you can hit, but none of them are quite as key as stopping the initial board presence your opponent's going to put out. Let's talk about Cold Wave for a second, because this card's being compared to Cold Wave a lot, and it is a very, very dumbed down version of Cold Wave. It's comparable. Both cards will stop spell or trap cards from being activated or their effects being activated until the end of the turn. Now, Cold Wave lasts longer because you activate it during your main phase 1, and it lasts until your next main phase 1. This only lasts until the battle phase to the end phase of whoever turn you activate it on. Anti-Magic Arrows and Cold Wave served very different purposes in the formats they were in. Cold Wave was good for the fact that this was back when Rescue Cat and stuff were still legal, and you were able to do like one card Quasars and stuff. It was nutty. Cold Wave you could activate to ensure your combo plays would go off into a field of a bazillion back row, or if you're going first turn, just activate it, set up your board, pass, your opponent can't set any of their back row to try to combat what you set out. So next turn, you're just going to be coming at them with whatever you set up, plus more. With this card, while it does also focus on the aggressive side of the play, being able to stop things such as Mirror Force and stuff, it more of ensures the fact that whatever board you put out during your main phase 2 will stay on the board until the end of your turn. And it also works kind of on the defensive side, being able to punish your opponent further if they were not able to keep the board they set out during their main phase 1 on the field until your main phase 2, because if you activate this during the battle phase, they're not able to reset a board if they could. Now, saying that, just because this card isn't like Cold Wave does not make it bad. Cards like XYZ Encore and cards like Night Beam have always been really cool to me, so I'm really excited to see how this card will do. ARG stands for Acidic Rampaging Gorillas, and it also conveniently stands for Ultra Reality Games. If you guys want to buy or sell product, if you want to read articles from the toppest of top players, and if you want to travel to high-level events, ultrarealitygames.com is your place to go. Be sure to like our Facebook fan page and subscribe to our Twitch stream if you haven't already. But as always, I thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Gage from ARG, signing out. Down!